Why honest people suffer most and don't succeed while bad people control the world? That's the question. That's not what I said. That's what the question says. What's the purpose of life? What's the meaning? What's the significance of life? We always examine that question. What's the purpose of life? Some people said the purpose of life is to be happy. That's a general definition of the purpose of life. The purpose of life is to be happy. And then, of course, you will further your question and ask, then what is happiness? And he may say, oh, happiness is you got a nice job, you got a good family, you have a beautiful wife, or you have a handsome husband, you have a husband who is both handsome and a millionaire, or billionaire now. Millionaire is no good anymore. Billionaire and handsome, and then you have a nice family, you have kids who treat you with filial piety, and then you're healthy, and everything. And that's happiness. That's what he said, not what I said. That's what he said. And then some people said, no, happiness is not that. Happiness is when I can be the leader. Everybody knows about me. And I'm famous, I'm a celebrity, and the whole world, people, everybody respect me, and I have good reputation, and the highest respect, that's my happiness. I will be happy about that. And there's some people, they will say, no, I'm not. To me, as long as I have a job and I don't have to work under extreme pressure, and then I just work accordingly, and I just live, that's happiness. Everybody's definition of happiness is different. But when you sum it up, the first person's happiness is nothing but material acquisition. He wants to have money. Money can buy everything, he says. But we know that money cannot buy everything. Happiness is not material acquisition. And the second person is status. Happiness is not seeking status and reputation. The third is, I just want an ordinary life. I'm not striving for anything. So as long as I have food to eat, a shelter to live, and people don't meddle into my affairs, I don't care about other people, and that's good enough. I would tend to agree with, on a mundane basis, on a temporal basis, on a worldly basis, I tend to agree with purpose of life is look for happiness, quote and unquote. Of course, I don't 100% agree. But then you have to define what is happiness. Well, I think that according to what the Buddha's teaching says, happiness is within. It's not from outside. It's not for material, for wealth and reputation. Happiness is when you live, I'm talking about from a perspective of the world. Of course, that is a supramundane perspective as far as the Buddha is concerned, the Buddha's teaching. I'm talking about just the worldly definition, which more or less fit into the ideology of purpose of life. Is to look for happiness. Is there anybody here who says, my purpose of life is not look for happiness, it's look for suffering? Nobody wants suffering, right? Your purpose of life is you want happiness. But how do you define happiness? The happiness, you must be peaceful inside of you. It does not matter how much money you have, how beautiful you are, how handsome you are, and whatnot. But if you're not peaceful inside, you're not happy. You could be surrounded with billions of dollars and mansions and nice cars and husbands and wife and girlfriend and you name them, but you're not happy because you don't feel peaceful inside. So it's the mind that gears you to happiness. Now, how do you obtain that peace in mind? That's what the Buddha is teaching us. How do you achieve that peace in mind? One of the many methods is, of course, through meditation. But if we can summarize it all in a situation like this, where we cannot lecture for hours, the Buddha said there's 3 perspectives you can work towards happiness. The first one, morality. The second one is concentration or attention or meditation. The third is wisdom. If you don't have these 3, you cannot build your happiness with a foundation. So in other words, if you don't have morality, and you're looking for happiness, and you define happiness in sensuality, you're looking only for temporal happiness, you have a lot of girlfriends or boyfriends, and you think that's happiness, your lack of morality, problems come up. It may lead to broken marriages, broken families, it may lead to diseases, it may lead to many, many byproducts of unhappy endings. So you really have to have vinaya, you really have to control your behavior. You control yourself in 3 ways. Through your behavior, your speech, and your thinking. In other words, you really have to have a good morality standard in order to build your happiness on. That's all in the Buddhist teachings. The precept school. Don't let me scare you by 3 years. I scare you from studying it. What I'm saying is, if you really want to specialize in it, in that school of thought, it may take you a few years specializing in it. But just know enough so that you maintain your morality standard. It does not take 3 years. All right, that's morality. The second one is what we call samadhi, or samadhi. Samadhi is to be able to control your own mind, to be able to understand your mind, to be able to gear your mind towards what you want to achieve, given that you observe this morality standard. That is samadhi. In other words, you want to do good deeds, you maintain your method how to do that good deeds. You must have concentration, you must have meditation, you must have samadhi. When bad times comes, you must be able to tolerate bad times. When good times comes, you must be able to control yourself from unnecessary elevation of your emotions. So you really need to know your own mind. You must control yourself. You must put your mind under proper control. Toleration. For example, in the 6 paramitas, the first one is how can you exercise your generosity, to be generous, to be kind, to be compassionate. How to tolerate, for example, how to maintain your family, how to be responsible not just to yourself, to your family, to your company, to the society. All these, you must have the tolerance level. You must have the understanding. And finally, there's another column, which is another pillar for the foundation, it's wisdom. You need wisdom to guide your morality. You need wisdom to guide your samadhi. And in Buddhism, we call it prajna. So there's a lot to learn. If you ask me what's the purpose of life, I want to counter you with a question. Have you learned anything about the purpose of life? Have you do any analysis of it? Have you thought about it? Or you just say, what's my purpose? Somebody give me a purpose of life. I don't know. You have to seek it. You have to write your own script. Nobody can write the script of your life for you. You are the director of your own life. Certainly, you don't want anybody to direct your life. You want your mom to direct your life? You want your dad to direct your life? They can't. You want your husband to direct your life? or your wife, or your boyfriend. You've got to write your own script of life. How do you write up this script? When you write up this script, what do you need? You need material to write. You need to gather information to write your script. You need to learn. You need the right way. You need to seek. Seek and thou shalt find. If you don't seek, thou shalt not find. You need to work towards this script that you have. If, unfortunately, you wrote the wrong script, it don't really matter. Tear that one apart, or correct it, edit it, and then carry on. As I said in the hall, somebody told me to check into the YouTube with a homeless man on the road and then suddenly have a golden voice and become an announcer. He wrote the wrong script in life. He became an alcoholic. And then he changed his script again now. Hopefully he will follow the script. He'll direct his life back. Nobody can. Only the God in you can. When I say God, it's quote and unquote. It's not a person. Don't personify your God. It's not a person. It's not a God, really. It's you, yourself. You direct. You're the director. At the same time, you're the script writer. At the same time, you're the actor. And in some cases, you're also the audience. You should be your audience. Check on yourself. Write a critique of your script. Every now and then you evaluate your own script. Your critique of your own film. You want to win an Academy Award? That Academy Award is in the eyes of the beholder. So we can tie things together. And what the second part of this question is, why honest people suffer most and don't succeed while bad people control the world? This is not what I said. I think not just bad people control the world. Good and bad people. In the history of mankind, there are good people too. The bad people, of course. Good or bad is because of causality. Everybody has his own karma. Everybody's face doesn't look the same. Why everybody is different? Because your karma is different. What you have done in the past is different. Nobody has the same history of the past. Because of what you have done in the past, you suffer now. Because of what good deeds you have done in the past, you gain now. So everybody's karmic energy is different. And if the bad people use the wrong way to do wrong things, they will suffer karmically. Not any other people. They themselves will suffer. The good people, they do good deeds, they would reap what they've harvested, what they sowed. But if we always have that negative attitude saying that, hey, how come these bad people control the world? And also, when you define what is good and what is bad, probably you may be prejudiced. Maybe the method they use are not the same as yours. I still remember many, many years ago, I was told to see a movie, and then there's a very, very filial daughter who they were in a poor family, and the whole family depended on social welfare, and then the daughter was able to struggle and make a lot of money, and then finally she came home and said, "Mom, here's the key for the house. I bought you a house. Here's the key, and I worked hard to buy you a house, and here's the house. Here's the key." The mom's first reaction is, "How come you buy a house for me? How am I going to get that paycheck every month that the government's going to give me? I'm not qualified for the relief anymore. I can't depend on the social welfare anymore. Every month I have an automatic check. Now you give me a house. And what do I need a house for?" You see, they consider even the daughter as bad person. So What is good and bad is in the eyes of the beholder. So I won't say that everybody is bad. There are so many good people, compassionate people. And what is the proportion? I don't know. I haven't done a survey. So let's be optimistic and positive. We want everybody to be good. If someone is bad, we hope that he will change his script, he will be better again, he will improve. And if you consider everything from your self-personal interest, most people are bad. If you consider everything according to other people's, you put yourself in other people's shoes and look at from their perspective, maybe you will find there's a lot of good people. I don't know if I have answered your question. If I linger on, people will say, let's drop that question and carry on. Next question. A reminder that we will be covering cushions in the meditation hall after lunch, and help is welcome. And now the definition of a good person is be a good volunteer. Don't walk away after lunch, because in the eyes of the beholder, you're not a good person if you walk away after lunch. You'll be good if you're coming to help. That's my definition of good and bad for this voluntary service. So you judge it for yourself.